just found out about this. This happened over the weekend and I didn't know nothing. I've been feeling a little under weather, but that slipped by me. I have much admiration and respect for Miss Robinson. I had to get up and talk about it. May she rest in peace. Now this is the epitome of excellence. I love the Obamas. I haven't been feeling that great lately, but I think this story is worthy to take a moment and share. I talk about mental health. I talk about life and wisdom with a desire for people to pick up on the pieces that they need to succeed. There's so much noise in the world. There's so much going on and so much misfortune and unhealthy character that it's good to have voices of reason, if you will, be present. We are born, we live, and then we pass away. It's life. It will happen to all of us. What's important to me is what you do with that dash between birth and death. And Michelle Obama's mother, Marian Robinson, did an excellent job with her dash. And that's why I said, let me take a moment, because I wasn't aware of her passing on Saturday. According to CNN, Marian Robinson, the mother of former First Lady Michelle Obama, has died, according to a statement from the Obama and Robinson families. She was 86. As a sister, aunt, cousin, neighbor, and friend to so many, she was beloved beyond words by countless others whose lives were improved by her presence. I believe that. The statement from the Barack and Michelle Obama, Craig and Kelly Robinson, and their children said in part, "She passed away peacefully this morning, and right now none of us are quite sure how exactly we'll move on without her," the statement said. Michelle Obama posted on social media, "My mom, Marian Robinson, was my rock, always there for whenever I needed. She was the same steady backstop for our entire family, and we are heartbroken to share she passed away today." I was saddened and shocked this morning. There was and will only be one Marian Robinson. In our sadness, we are lifted up by the extraordinary gift of her life. And as we will spend the rest of ours trying to live up to her example, Barack Obama wrote on X. President Joe Biden, who served as Obama's Vice President, and First Lady Jill Biden said in a statement Saturday that their family sends its deepest love to the Obamas. "We knew Mrs. Robinson as a beloved mother and grandmother with a fierce and unconditional love for family. With the blessing of friendship, we felt that love ourselves with every quiet smile or warm embrace she shared with us," the Bidens stated. Robinson lived with the Obamas during their time at the White House and was often spotted at events with the family, including handing out goodie bags to trick-or-treaters on Halloween. "We needed her. The girls needed her," the family statement said of her move to Washington, and she ended up being our rock through it all. A native of Chicago, where she returned after the Obamas left the White House, Robinson was married to Frazier Robinson, and the pair had two children, Michelle and Craig Frazier. Robinson died in 1991 after a long struggle with multiple sclerosis. Marian Robinson was heavily involved in her children's education, according to the statement. The family recalled Robinson as having taught her children to read at an early age, sitting together as they sounded out words on a page, giving them the strength and confidence to walk to school. They also highlighted her presence in a historic moment on election night in 2008, when the news broke that Barack would soon shoulder the weight of the world. She was there, holding his hand, the statement said. She was a South Sider through and through. David Axelrod, former Obama senior advisor, stated, just a great lady. A CNN senior political commentator told CNN's Wolf Blitzer on the Situation Room on Friday, adding that during her time at the White House, she did not take to the whole celebrity in style. Instead, Axelrod said she would often slip out of the White House on her own and visit with friends. She really wasn't looking for attention. Years after the unveiling of the Obama's portrait at the Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery in 2018, Michelle Obama recalled how impactful her mother's reaction had been when she took her to the museum after hours. It was quiet, and I was watching my mom, Marian Robinson, sit at the base of my portrait and look up at it with such a level of awe. She said when the portraits were temporarily moved to Chicago. And for me, watching her see me in that way meant the world to me, Michelle said. You know, a lot of young people often speak about the divide between mother and daughter within the minority community. I posted a video about that recently. Marian Robinson and Michelle's relationship is an example, the epitome of excellence as we see, looking from the outside in. Now, every relationship is not perfect. I'm sure they had their moments, but they were able to perfect mother-daughter excellence. We have a responsibility, whether we want to claim it or not, to be good stewards in this life, to be examples, to pass on wisdom and dignity, and lead with intention and instruction. Marian Robinson, well done. I'm Boots Boswell. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, this is real life. And we talking about things that matter. Some stuff a little fluff, but overall there's a lesson in everything in life. What will your dash look like? What legacy will you leave? What will people say after you are gone away? Marian Robinson, job well done. Thank you. First former grandmother. May she rest in peace. Subscribe on the right way out.
Obama's mother, Marian Robinson, a woman I assume you knew well.
Just profound sadness. Well, she was just a great lady. I mean, much of what was said reflects what I experienced over the course of my relationship with the Obamas, starting, before he was a national political leader. But the move to Washington, as was said, was not something she could do. She was a South Sider through and through. Her husband worked for 37 years at a water filtration plant, worked through multiple sclerosis, and yet never missed a day of work. And she was the rock of that family, as Michelle said. Michelle and her brother Craig both excelled in life and were very much the product of their mom's tutelage. She taught them how to be resilient, how to be responsible, and grace, taught them grace. But in the White House, it was so interesting. She would, as was said, she did not take to the whole celebrity lifestyle. She kind of shunned that. And she would often slip out of the White House on her own and visit with friends outside the White House. She really wasn't looking for attention, and she was. And she, as soon as the administration was over, she headed right back to the South Side of Chicago. I will tell you, my last encounter with her was when Pete Souza, the former White House photographer, came to the Institute of Politics that I am associated with at the University of Chicago, and he did he was talking he had a book of photos from the White House, and she was right there in the front row. And when it was over, the students just gravitated to her, and she held forth. She was not a person of many words. The words were often laden with wisdom, but she was very, very talkative, and the kids were just transfixed. And she said, sort of as an aside, "This is great. You know, they never let me talk much when we were out there in Washington." So and it was just so much fun to see. She was like the Pied Piper with these young people. The last thing I would say is she was indispensable to the Obamas, whose big concern about running for president, about being elected president, was the impact it would have on their two young daughters when they had to be on the road and so on. And the fact that Mrs. Robinson was there to provide consistent, sustained, nurturing guidance, oversight, made everything possible. And, you know, those young women now are in part who they are, and they're both sensational young women because of the love and guidance of their grandmother.
It takes work. Work that was made easier thanks to her mother, Marian Robinson. The whole 8 years you were in the White House, I think I could count how many times I saw you on TV, and I got up to one, and then I had to stop. Yeah, it's just not something that you do. But why is it that you didn't want to do interviews, Mrs. Robinson?
I didn't want to say anything that would, you know how you accidentally say things?
Yeah.
I figured if I didn't say anything, then I wouldn't say the wrong thing.
We don't have to worry about that. When your daughter becomes First Lady of the United States and your son-in-law is the president, how do you wrap your brain around that? What are you thinking?
It's pretty difficult, let's face it.
Why?
Because I felt like this was going to be a very hard life for both of them. And I was worried about their safety. And I was worried about my grandkids. I mean, that's what got me to move to D.C.
Why did you want her there? Why was it important to you?
Oh, because for the girls, you know, I wanted them to come home to family. There was just parts of the girls' lives that I just knew were going to be okay because Mom was there. When I traveled internationally, Grandma was there. You know, when I wasn't home at the end of the day, Grandma was there. When the kids were still little and they needed to have someone be with them in school. I mean, you think about it, my girls were being driven around in a motorcade of 3 cars with at least 4 grown adult guns in each of those cars. And I just thought that that's an unnatural way for a little second grader to go to school. Well, Mom would ride in the car with her to make it feel like a regular carpool.
You're in the White House where they say, Mrs. Robinson, can we get you something? Mrs. Robinson, do you need anything?
Right.
Was that a big adjustment for you?
It was a huge adjustment. As a matter of fact, I talked them into allowing me to do my own laundry.
You were doing your own laundry?
Yes.
And she taught the girls how to do their laundry. They would go upstairs for laundry lessons. And she was the most beloved figure in the White House. Let me tell you,
I believe
she had
that.
a stream of people, the butlers, the housekeepers, they would all stop by, and they would, Grandma's room was like the confessional. You know, everyone would go there and just unload, you know, and then they leave. People still visit Mom
like
in
family.
Chicago.
They do?
Some of the staff come and visit. If they're in town in Chicago, they visit her.
Do you feel you have your life back? Do you miss the
do.
White House at all?
No, not at all.
You have your life back.
You know, I do miss the people.
Yes.
Because they were like family to me, and we got pretty close there.
Your mom says she doesn't miss the White House. Do you?
No. I mean, the 8 years was more than enough. And what I realized over the years is that home is where we are, you know, and the White House happened to be our home for 8 years. But we took all that love and energy and we just moved it to another house. It's still there. And that's the part of life that's important.
What's the best thing about Michelle Obama that makes you proudest?
Well, now my saying is, when I grow up, I would like to be like Michelle Obama.
Wow.